Hi, this is Gsmg with the US stock highlights here on Share Talk for Friday, the 15th of January. Starting off with Bivi, which is a newcomer here, and what a way to start with a gap through the former resistance in August. That was at 34.54, and above that on an end of day close basis, looking towards as high as $80 plus over the next 1 to 2 months. Upside value while we hold above the floor of the channel from May around the $22.50 level, but it's all about really the near-term support for the shares being old resistance at around that $34 level, and probably allowing obviously down to today's support area at $31, but ideally there's no sustained price action back below that August peak. Next up, a name which was the future once, but maybe future again, BlackBerry. Interesting that we've had a gap, the second stock in a row with a gap through previous resistance. In this case, the November peak at $9.69, and above, if we can get a weekly close above that, then we're looking hopefully towards that old December 2019 resistance line at $13 plus. So above just the $9.70 zone up towards $13 at the moment over the next, say, 2 to 4 weeks, hopefully. If we can get through $13, or more precisely $13.50, we'd have a new leg up towards the $22 area, maybe for later in the year. But exciting type of setup there at BlackBerry with a second gap higher in the recent past. On to a stock which has had quite a lot of airplay here over the recent past, and that's been Bio-Nano-Genomics, to try and repeat the stocks which are doing well as much as possible so that we have as narrow a universe as possible. Bio-Nano breaking the initial January resistance there at $7.24, and above that we've already hit one of our initial targets there at $9. If we can get through and sustain the $9 area, then the new target for Bio-Nano is a September 2019 resistance line projection up to as high as $15, hopefully by the end of March. At this stage, only really well below recent neckline resistance around the $6 area, really delaying the upside scenario for Bio-Nano. On to stock which is a new name, Ceragon Networks. Hopefully that comes up now on the screen, and here you can see that these shares have hit a resistance line there from January. That was up to $5.60, so we need an end of day close above that, or a weekly close above that, to give us the next target here, which would be up towards a March resistance line projection at $8, and hopefully that would be seen as soon as the end of February, or at least 4 to 6 weeks after any break of the $5.60 area. In terms of support, a rather more difficult challenge there in terms of where that might be. We've got old resistance on the way down to 360, and obviously there's another resistance point there for the shares around the $4.30 level. I suppose that would be the best one for near-term traders to try and lock in any profits they might have. Onto a stock which is also looking encouraging at the moment, Chra Solutions. Here the name of the game would be for the shares to hold above or close above that old peak, $3.83 from July. So we'll be looking for that to come into play over the next session or two. Otherwise, we've got old resistance at $3.30, hopefully becoming new support while we're above $3.30. We're still looking for the upside here, and the top of a broadening triangle from September 2019, currently pointing towards the $7.50 area, and hopefully that could be seen by the end of the first quarter of this year. New stock to look at now, and here we have Glory Star New Media, and here the excitement is due to really the way that we've broken through neckline resistance. That comes in the form of the December resistance area, $2.97. Above that on an end of day close basis, looking for further tests of the $4 plus area, which has been post-June resistance. We can get a weekly close above $4 plus over the course of January at some point. The next target would be up to the top of a June broadening triangle heading towards $6.70, and that could be seen hopefully by the end of the first quarter, by the end of March this year. On to another fresh face. I think we haven't looked at Novn before. If I can get the right code, NOVN. Here we've had a great, well, it's another similar stock, similar situation to the first stock we looked at, with the gap through resistance. In this case, it was a July resistance at $1.34. So looking for an end of day or end of week close above that level. We get that over the next few sessions, then hopefully the target here would be as high as $2.30, which is the top of a rising trend channel from back in March last year. So at least while we're above the $1 area, the upside here looks pretty well set, and especially $1.10, which is that July resistance line, which has just been gapped through. A new name again, we have Obsv, and here the punchline in terms of the charting is the break of the gap through that old August resistance at $3.14. Above that on an end of day close basis, and we're looking hopefully to fill the gap down through the $5 to $6 area from back in the beginning of July. That could hopefully be seen by the end of next month. Big picture target over the next 1 to 2 months up to that resistance line there from the end of 2019, currently promising a target as high as $7.40. So above that $3.14 area, hopefully we'll see further upside for Obsv. One of the stocks of the last month or two has been Pltr Technology, and here the situation is we're still looking for the big break after the consolidation that we've had since the end of November. In theory, I suppose we have broken that November resistance line, but I suppose it depends exactly where you draw it. But it looks like we have actually broken that around $25.80. Above that, on a weekly close basis, we should hopefully see the shares try and at least retest the resistance area towards $30 that we've had over the last couple of months, but probably want to see a proper clearance of December resistance, 29.39 or 29.42 rather, the peak for the latter part of December, and probably an end of day close through that is really what we're waiting for Pltr Technology. Another stock which is less familiar is Pola Power, and here we're looking at pretty strong gap higher through the initial January resistance at $9.30. We've got also the low of today at around $9.60, and while we're above that, looking for a target here at the top of a rising trend channel from August as high as around the $18.80 area. Hopefully that could be seen as soon as the end of next month, especially while we hold above the $10 zone. A couple of stocks left now. First one is coming through just now, Sens. Cool name and a very cool chart in terms of the gaps higher that we've had over the last few weeks. Vertical gap in December that was held, hardly any pullback below the top of the gap there before a fresh gap higher. And the current situation is that while we're above this December price channel floor at $1.27, looking towards a top of December channel target as high as $3.20, hopefully as soon as the end of next month. So let's see if Sens lives up to the potential that seems to be there at the moment. Finishing off with a frequent flyer that we have on the stock highlights, Tlry, and the reason for inclusion today really is the gap that the shares have made through that the top of the channel that was drawn from March last year. Looked pretty optimistic around the $18.50 area, but that was beaten on the close yesterday, and while there's no end of day close back below $18.50, looking for a little bit more upside there up towards $25, which is a late September resistance line projection. In fact, that's going towards $25.80, and hopefully we could see that by the end of next month. That's it from me today. More updates next week.